Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. We've got 2 hours to do this. Let's rock and roll. So, shaders are amazing. You like that little mumbo jumbo intro I did? Anyways, today we're looking at a shader, my just absolutely favorite topic. If you've seen the last video, you'll understand. But we're looking at a shader of water that I definitely did not steal from Black Plasma Studios. Oh, what did I already do? So as you can see over here, we got a little scene going and nothing too much about it. You know, the sky's kind of weird. But here we have the stuff. We got a lake, and you could argue there's a little waterfall over there. But we're going to be looking at this because it's better on flat surface. So this nice water shader, let's actually render it. Look at the rendered view over here, and you can just see it's beautiful. I think I have some renders on Instagram with this water shader, but we'll be looking at the rendered view later on. So we'll actually split this part into 3 sections, the shader itself. And actually, now that I think of it, it's going to be more sections because there's more steps to this. But okay, first of all, for these things, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. You know, you're working with a shader, so you have to go up here and pardon my layout, but this is not default, but there should be a shading tab on default layout. You locate yourself a nice shading tab. Oh, my voice just went 10 notes up. I don't know music, okay. So you find it, you click on the shading tab, and it brings you over to this, not exactly this view, because as always, you can split your thing. You can like right click on the middle between these two and then split it, you know, do all that stuff. And I got mine usually in this view, but you got the general view of everything, and then you got the node editor here. So anyways, now that you're here, you actually want to click on the thing that contains the water. So let's say this whole map, because the map has the water in it, as you can see. So you click on that. And over here, as usual, you got the outliner. You go over here into material properties, and you scroll through and find the material that you want. In this case, the water. Usually for me, it's named stationary water. I don't know. It should be something along the lines of water. I mean, water. How many times did I say water? I hope it makes sense. I believe I made myself clear. Yeah, get it? Because water is like clear. So anyways, you find the water, you click on it, and it should pull up this the nodes for it. Now that I think of it, it's going to pull up something different, but not to fear, because for this, you'll be creating a completely new shader. Yay. So pretty much delete everything you have, except for the material output. So now let's actually split this up, so we can see what's going on. We got 3 main parts to this, and we shall do this. Yeah, you know what? This is 3 parts. So anyways, you always start off for many of the shaders in this case with some sort of noise texture. You can search that up, but overall it just generates a random procedural map of material. You can tell I don't know what I'm talking about because, yeah, smart stuff. I don't do that here. So anyways, if we look at the noise texture itself, if we look at it by itself, then we see that we have this weird assortment of just rainbow colors, all of this stuff, and it doesn't really make sense. But this is where the second part comes in. We take this noise texture and we apply several things to it, such as hue saturation value. That's another node that you'll add on top of it. You plug the color into the color. Wow. You set actually, let's pull this up, a normal hue saturation node. Yeah, so it's pretty much not different whatsoever, except for the saturation. You set the saturation to 0, and that causes the water to become, wait for it, yep, it causes this, where you only have the gray and white gradient of just noise. And this is moving us a step closer to the actual making of the water. So after this, you send it through the brightness contrast node. And this is mostly here to fix any discrepancies. You know, we can switch around the brightness and stuff and like get a more like contrasty feeling to it. You know, the contrast, of course. But we have it at this in-between stage. As you can see, that is a little fix that we do here. And that is for customization purposes. If you want, you know, waves. Then, of course, the final step. This is where we create the waves themselves. So for this, Blender basically creates a 3D illusion because these waves, they're actually not real. Who would have guessed? These waves aren't real. But anyways, the bump. This is the thing that creates the waves themselves. So you plug in the color, the output of this color, into the height, and it uses the noise texture to basically generate the height of those waves to see where is going to be, where the highs are going to be and where the lows are going to be. Yes. Yeah, so only the distance you want to lower it down because, well, yeah, stuff like this happens if it's too high. You're just gonna get like some sort of oily liquid thing. But if you have the distance at a 0.1, you're gonna pretty much get normal waves. So moving on, these things, we have the bump, the node. We have the waves going into the glossy node, so that causes the waves to be, well, glossy, you know, reflect light and all that stuff. You maybe lower the roughness, switch it around so it's not too glossy or too rough, you know, so you don't have to like, so it's not a mirror, but you get my point. Then, of course, the waves, they become shiny. Oh, what did I do? Yeah, it makes the waves and it makes them shiny. So after that, we plug those things into the, let's see, we plug those things into the mix shader. And this mix shader, it also takes the input from the diffuse shader. Diffuse node. I'm calling these shaders, but these are nodes. So it takes the output from the diffuse node and, well, you set the color here to the color of your water. So, you know, you want red water, here you go. You want green water, yeah, there we go. And as you can see, those little spots, they look blue, but they're actually more dark. They're like pretty much clear, and like they have the weird discoloration to them. That is one thing you might want to fiddle around with in the settings. Change around the contrast, maybe the brightness, and that might change the thing. Honestly, here you would just have to test it and, you know, experiment with it. But overall, this is pretty much perfect results, because if you see the render, it's gonna be very good. But anyways, it takes the color, and we don't want the roughness here because we're already controlling the roughness down here. It mixes these two. It also takes the factor from the brightness contrast node. Yeah, but it basically controls the ratio of these two nodes, or of these two inputs over here. And well, of course, if you switch the value, it's going to switch the ratio. And then once again, we take the output from the mix shader, we put it into another mix shader. This time we mix it with a transparent node. And once again, this factor, we actually set it ourselves. And well, of course, transparent node, I think everybody knows what that does. I think I've made myself clear. I already made that joke. I can't. Okay. Anyways, after that, of course, you got the final output, and you plug that into the surface, not the volume, the surface. And with that, you got yourself a nice little, you know, shader, water shader. Oh, and almost forgot about this. If you have the Node Wrangler add-on, which you can go into the edit and, you know, preferences and add-ons, well, it's all in the main tutorial that Squared Media has, or Black Plasma Studios, what they used to be called. But if you have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, Node Wrangler? How did I say it? You can basically take any node, and let's actually remove this for now, and you can click on it, and you can press Ctrl-T, and that is going to make an automatic mapping and texture coordinate node, so you don't have to like set up these things. So this, you can actually use this to your advantage, since if you move the location around, you're going to animate the water. And here the values, there's a very small shift in values to make a big change, so it's going to be hard. But if we slowly move this over, yeah, you still can't see, but you can basically move the values and stuff and, you know, change how the water flows. Wow, rotation actually looks better. I don't know why I have location keyframed. But yeah, this, with everything, you know, also the values, I haven't really gone over them in detail, but some of these values are different from the default, since, you know, you have a lesser value, you're not going to have waves, you have a higher value, you're just going to have like this ripply surface. Details, you know, too much details is like too realistic water, and too little details, you just got yourself a blob. Roughness, you know, all that stuff. Basically, you go through, you change these values, and you find what suits you. In this case, this was pretty much default settings, I think, by the guy who made the original shader. But yeah, just play around with this, and this should make a very good shader. Now that we're on that topic, let's actually render out a test image. And okay, we've got the camera set up here, and let's actually see the resolution. Well, yeah, 1280, whatever. We're gonna make a test sample, or test render. So, you know, render it out. I mean, it all depends on the settings, but as you can see, we got a pretty much realistic water here. It looks good, I guess. Is this good? Looks good to me. But yeah, with that, I think we've covered everything. Once again, thank you for sticking around. You know, listen to my rambling for like 10 minutes. Yeah, but I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.